This is international boxing news, and I'm joined by the European featherweight champion Jordan Gill. How you doing, mate?
All good. Can't complain. Thank you very much.
Perfect. How's camp going for your fight with Kiko?
Yeah, good. Training's going well. Feeling fit and strong. Starting to pick up the sparring and stuff now. So, yeah, can't complain. It's all good.
Perfect. So before we go into that, obviously I've got a lot of questions. I think when the fight was announced, I was buzzing for it. I think it's the perfect fight, or the perfect next fight for you. But I do want to go back to kind of your fight with potential fight of the year contender with Karim Guerfi, if that's okay. Um, I've lost count of the amount of times I've watched that fight back. Honestly, like it is one of my favorite fights to watch this year. How did you feel the fight was going during the fight?
I think I started off quite slow, and I'm sure I'm definitely lost the first round. For I started to get a little foothold in the fight. I think I won probably two, three, 4 rounds. Rounds two, rounds three, and round four, and then I perforated my eardrum a week before the fight in sparring. So as soon as I got clipped on it, it sort of went again, and the other one went as well. So it wasn't ideal. And then obviously we got DDT. I think the other one went when I got DDT. So yeah, the balance was an issue for me. Not only because of that, but because I had a knee injury as well going into the fight. But that sounds like I'm making a million excuses, but it is what it is. We can look back and laugh now, but at the time, it was a serious thing. But yeah, obviously I was a few rounds behind, probably 2 or 3 rounds behind by the time I stopped him in the end. The balance was gone, the knee was shot. I didn't feel particularly tired because I wasn't allowed, I wasn't able physically to do much in the fight. But yeah, I could see him sort of unloading on the ropes. I could see him, seeing me as a wounded animal, and I could see him getting frustrated when I was making him miss on the ropes. I could see him taking deep breaths when I was hitting him back to the body on the ropes, and I could see every time that he was jabbing, his lead hand was coming back a little bit slow, a little bit lazy, and I thought, I'm going to get him. I kept composed, I kept mentally strong, and I got him in the end.
But how important was Dave? Obviously, I know Dave has been very influential in your career, but especially in that fight, especially when he kind of told you to stay in your corner and do it. How influential was Dave kind of getting you through that fight, and especially towards when you knocked out Guerfi?
Yeah, vital, vital. I don't think I would have won the fight without Dave in my corner, and not only in the corner, but in the gym and stuff. Like what we work on, um, isn't sort of what a lot of people will do stuff that a lot of people don't do. So like when I was sitting on the ropes and defending and riding the shots and stabbing back to the body and stuff like that, it's just little things like that we do in the gym. When I'm inspiring, say I've had a hard week and my legs are tired. I'll practice sitting in the corner, sitting on the ropes and blocking and defending, riding shots and working back and making them miss and getting around the sides of them. And that's the sort of stuff we do. So without Dave drilling that stuff with me, wouldn't have been able to go off in the fight. And without him talking me through those moments in the ring, it would have been so much harder. I would have been in for a lot harder night. So, yeah, I think it was vital for me.
Okay, and I think I didn't that genuinely definitely shows, especially kind of the way he's progressed so many fighters, especially who have now to retired, and then yourself, and you've got obviously Hobie Price, LaRon Richards, Stephen Kearns as well. It definitely shows with how you were all progressing in your careers as well. I do want to kind of go back to the DDT moment. When I was watching it, I was a bit confused how Guerfi was still allowed to continue fight because to me anyway, it seemed semi deliberate. But like, how were you feeling, kind of watching it back? What do you have any feelings towards that, or whether it was accidental, deliberate, or not? Or you kind of it's in the past now. We're gonna I don't need to think about it anymore.
Yeah, I don't care now. I won
Mm.
the fight.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
He might care. I don't care. Um, uh, uh, he knew what he was doing, didn't he? Like he weren't daft. He saw it. Like obviously, he'd had me going in that round. He was struggling to get the finish, and I leant in to grab hold and sort of nullify him. And he
Mm.
saw his opportunity to DDT me, and he took it. And it had an effect, and it did. It worked to an extent, and he didn't really get warned for it at all. And I don't have no ill feeling towards him for that. He was trying to win a fight. I was trying to win the fight. So it is what it is, and we can move on.
Exactly, and as you said, you won the fight in the end. So fair play to you for thinking that way. And I'd like to go again straight into your fight with Kiko Martinez. I think when there was kind of a few rumors about the fight coming out, as I said before, I think it's the perfect fight for you, like continuing your career. And obviously it's a defense of your European title, right? And it's also an eliminator for Josh Warrington's title. Is that correct?
Correct.
Perfect. And then, so why is now the right time to fight Kiko Martinez?
Um, I, there's never a right time to fight anyone, is there? It's just you have a fight and you have a fight, and that's it. I think for me, it's a case where I've got a mandatory in an Italian guy called Mauro Forte. I spoke to Eddie at the Boazzi Richards card, in fact, and I said, "Oh, I've got a mandatory," and he didn't really seem interested in putting that fight on. He wanted me to have a bigger fight, a bigger name. He said, "Oh, that's not really the fight I want. I'd like to see you fight Kiko." And I'd never really thought about it until then, because I thought obviously I've got to defend my European and Kiko's world level. He's in his last fight. It was just after he got beat by Warrington. So in his last fight, he was world champion. So um, yeah, it's not really a fight that I thought about. And even like when these boxing reports were coming out, the fight I'd not even received an offer for it.
Okay.
In fact, so obviously everyone's talking about it, and there was rumors, oh yeah, we're gonna get an offer to you, this and that. But I'd not actually had an offer by that point. That's why I was saying, or when people were asking me, I was saying, oh, the fight's not done, but obviously we're open to it. So um, finally it got done, and yeah, I think it is the right time. If there is ever is a right time, I'm 28. I'm coming into my prime now. I'm starting to feel fit, feel strong. I had a hand operation after my last fight that was booked in for a while. So I've got two hands, my knees are all good. I've got two arms, two legs, and I'm fit, I'm strong, I'm firing. So I'm just happy to be in fighting shape here, injury free, and feeling good in the gym.
Perfect. And kind of outside of the champions, and then potentially kind of Mauricio Lara as well. Do you think Martinez is one of the hardest fights at featherweight for you?
Yes, I think. I think he's probably one of the hardest fights in the division. He's relentless. He's strong as a bull. He's got experience on his side. He's got momentum. Even though he's lost his last fight, he's got momentum because he's been on a good run. He had a very good performance against Zelfa Barrett. He knocked out Kid Galahad. He broke Josh Warrington's jaw. So he's on good form, and he's a very good fighter, a very dangerous fighter. Can punch with either hand, and yeah, he's gonna bring it. This is his time to shine as well. So, um, looking forward to it, mate. And it's gonna be a crack, I'm sure.
No, I think so as well. And kind of, as you said, despite he may have on paper lost the fight to Zelfor and kind of did obviously he got stopped against Josh Warrington. He did have a lot of success in both fights, and he was very live in the fight with Warrington. Many people saying it was kind of a 50-50 fight going into that fight as well. So no, I'm definitely look forward to it. And kind of my last, how do you see the fight going?
Um, all I want to do is win. That's all I need to do. At the end of the day, boxers who turn pro and want to be. Everybody wants to be world champion and be in these big fights. And I've got to that level now. I've won a Commonwealth title, I've won a few international titles, I've become European champion. The next stage is the world title. And for me to get to a level where I'm boxing a top 10 Ring Magazine ranked fighter, I think he goes number 8 by Ring Magazine. So that's for me. It's like recognition. Beat this guy, and then you're there in the mix, and you can be put into these world title fights, and you beat a guy like Kiko, and you've earned that right to fight for a world title, and that right to say that you're world class. Um, so all I want to do is win. I don't know how I'll win. I don't know whether it'll be stoppage or points, or whether it's going to be a straightforward fight. They're never really straightforward, are they? You've always got to, adapt and overcome certain aspects. And I'm sure I will on the night. He's a great champion. There's a reason why he's top 10 ranked in the Ring Magazine. There's a reason why he's Spain's most successful ever fighter. and he will go down as a legend in Spain, a legend in boxing.
100%, and I do, and it is all the attributes that you have, your boxing ability, and also, as you proved in your last fight, as you've got knockout power as well at the weight, and then also kind of the capabilities that Martinez brings to the fight as well. I think it sets up for a proper 50-50 fight, and one that I'm definitely looking forward to. What my final few questions, Jordan, when I was doing my research for this, I noticed that you're kind of part of a not-for-profit. You found a not-for-profit, Jordan Gill, the next generation. Kind of, I just wanted to ask you, kind of, what is your not-for-profit about, and kind of what would you like it to achieve, kind of in the long run?
I mean, in the long run, for me, it's if we can change one kid's life, then it's been worth starting for me. And we've already done that, so for me, it's already worth it. I started it a couple of years ago, maybe 3 years ago. We was a bit unlucky with COVID coming out at the same sort of time. As the Jordan Gill next generation, but basically what we're doing is we're going into schools, we're going into youth clubs, we're actually campaigning to get our own venue at the moment, to put on boxing classes, not specifically boxing, but we're getting kids in, we're getting them playing games, getting them talking, getting communicating. We're boosting their self-esteem, making them better members of society, give them options of careers to go into. We're bringing people in that have life experience to talk to them and tell them what not to do if they want to be successful. A friend of mine, he come in and he told them a story about how he got mixed up in the wrong crowd as a youngster. He ended up getting caught with drugs on him, and he went to prison. And how he's got out of prison and he's turned his life around. And all the kids were sat down. He's a big lump, and all the little kids were not little kids, but teenagers at a good age. They were sitting there thinking, "Jesus, I don't want to do that." So we've had an impact. We're getting the kids with character. We're getting the kids that are naughty, or deemed as naughty, and they're the ones that we like, because they're on the brink of being excluded from school, on the brink of being expelled from school. And we've changed that. We've allowed them to sort of integrate back into mainstream school, and they're getting on really well. So if we can continue that work that we're doing, grow, we're looking to hopefully build, get our own venue and facility, and then get more people involved and get more funding to do more work. And it's something that I'm looking hopefully to go into after boxing. And we're getting getting our foot in the door now.
Perfect, and long may it continue. Obviously, and a testament to you for also setting up this not for profit whilst your career is still happening. We see boxers kind of set these things up mainly after they've retired, once they've kind of got their money and they don't know what to do with it. But fair play to you for kind of setting it up. But no, Jordan Gill, that is all of my questions, mate. Thank you very much for your time today, and best of luck against Kiko.
Thank you.
Perfect. Thank you very much, mate.